Hello again. This time I'll be adding clay to the armature, starting with the base. Based on some advice I got recently, I switched polymer clays. This is Fimo Professional that I'm using. It has a good working consistency, just a little bit rubbery, enough to hold some detail as the clay is being pushed and molded from other sides, and it bakes very hard and durable. At the start of this video, you saw me brushing some turpenoid into that mold. That just acts as a mild solvent to dissolve a thin layer of clay to make it fill the mold a bit better. The mold itself is something I made for miniature bases. I just took some 100% silicone caulking and mixed it with cornstarch and kept adding cornstarch till it had a Play-Doh-like consistency. Then I pressed a stack of 3 pennies into a blob of it and gave it about an hour to cure, then used a utility knife to trim it down so that it was flush with the top penny. So after I've got the clay in there, I unravel the excess wire beneath the feet of the armature and press it into the base. Once that excess wire is anchored into the clay there, and the surface smoothed over again, it's ready for its first bake, which gives us a solid base to work with. Now that the base is solid, I just add a bit of clay to the head and torso. In this video, I'll fill out a lot of detail in the head, but leave just a rough shape for the torso. This is because I'll eventually be adding a leather cuirass over the torso. Building the mini like this with layers, the torso and then the armor on top of it, and perhaps other things on top of that, and different sections, like the head and torso and arms separately and baked independently, gives the finished miniature a bit more impact resistance. This mini, when done, will be very ready for handling in tabletop gaming sessions. I still find sculpting heads and faces really challenging. Between takes here, after adding clay to head and torso, but before working on much detail on the face, I stopped recording and rewatched a video by Tom Mason on sculpting faces. Tom has an excellent channel on sculpting minis here on YouTube. Face sculpting is a specific task I still need a lot of practice at. Please forgive my shoddy camera work here. Keeping the work in frames as well as setting up a background that properly contrasts the white clay I'm working with are something I still need to improve. I hope you're able to at least get the experience of watching something form here and of my process in doing it. The last thing I'm going to do here before sending this back to the oven, after I finish applying some more turpenoid, will be to add the base layer of cotton for his hair and beard. Yes, cotton. Yes, I cheat and use all kinds of other materials other than clay to make my minis. The turpenoid softens up the clay on the head just enough for cotton to sink into the clay a little bit. After I bake this, the cotton will be rooted firmly enough that I'll be able to pick the mini up and shake it by the cotton. I'll build the hair up, adding more cotton bit by bit. The cotton will soak up pigment from a wet watercolor pencil nicely, allowing me to color the hair without spilling on the clay surface. As the watercolor dries into the cotton, it gets a little hard and binds the cotton all together just a little bit more. After the whole mini is completely done and all painted, an added coat of lacquer further binds the hair together and to the rest of the mini. Thanks again for watching, and in the next video in this series we'll be adding Grakar's limbs. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.